Welcome back. I think you're ready to take your skills to the next level. Remember to go at your own pace, pausing and replaying the video as many times as you need. In this lesson, we will be using QGIS to find out some environmental information about an area. In this scenario, you are asked to answer the following questions. What is the bedrock, that is, the geology, at the Cliffs of Moher Interpretive Centre? What is the aquifer category? And how far is the nearest river to the centre? First of all, we need to download the data files for geology. Open your internet browser and paste the following link. Select the download icon. Save the zip file called GSI Bedrock 500K into a new subfolder within your QGIS folder. You can call this folder Data. And press Save. Once it's finished downloading, right-click and select Show in Folder. To access the data, we need to right-click this folder and select Extract All. The dialog box asks where to save the extracted files. By default, it will extract the contents to the same directory in which the zip file is already in. So just hit Extract and a folder will be created that has all of the unzipped files within it. Close the File Explorer and your internet browser. Now we are ready to open QGIS. As usual, before you start, you should save the workspace. You can call this one Environmental. To add the geology data, we click Layer, Add Layer, and Add Vector Layer. Now direct your computer to your file. Press on the three dots, go to the Data folder, go into the GSI Bedrock 500K, and find the Shapefile. This is the SHP file under Type. Press Open, press Add, and press Close. The geology layer appears with many polygons that are all the same colour. Yours is more than likely not the same colour as mine that's shown here. Shapefiles have coordinate reference systems in order to place them accurately geographically. That is, to show them in their proper place in the world on your screen. As our workspace was empty prior to adding this shapefile, it automatically converted the workspace to its coordinate reference system, readable at the bottom panel as the EPSG code 29902. Click on the code. This brings up the window that informs us that we are working in the coordinate reference system of TM65, or the Irish grid. Irish grid is the older version of the Irish transverse Mercator system, which we used in a previous exercise. Close this window without making any changes. Looking at this map, we cannot distinguish any differences visually between places with different geology. To change this, we tell QGIS to make the symbology categorized. Right-click on the geology layer and click Properties. Within the Symbology tab, change Single Symbol to Categorized. Now we assign the value to base the categorization on. Click on the drop-down beside the value and choose Unit Name in the drop-down list. Now click on Classify to tell QGIS to assign a colour for every unit name. A large list appears looking something like this, although your colors will vary. Click Apply and press OK. To find out the geology at the Cliffs of Moher Centre, we need to zoom in to the correct location. We might know where County Clare is, but what about the interpretive centre? Let's use Quick Map Services to help us. Click the Quick Map Services icon and choose Google Road. Turn off the bedrock layer so that you can see the map lying beneath. Now zoom into County Clare. Can you see the Cliffs of Moher Centre? It might take a while. It is north of Lahinch and south of Doolin. Turn the geology layer back on and make the symbology of the layer 50% transparent in order to see the locations beneath. To do this, go to Layer Rendering. Make the opacity 50%. To find out the geology, select the Identify Features tool from the toolbar. Click on the bedrock polygon that overlies the location of the centre. The results are displayed in the panel to the right. This tells us that we are in the Namurian Sandstone and Shale Formation. Close the Results panel by clicking on the small X. To stop identifying features, click on the Pan Map tool. You can now answer the task question about geology. Now we will add the aquifer information in the same way. Firstly, we must download the aquifer data from the following link. Save the zip file into the data subfolder within your QGIS folder. Like before, right-click the file and select Show in Folder. Then right-click this folder and select Extract All. Press Extract, and a folder will be created that has all of the unzipped files in it. Close your File Explorer and your internet browser. Return to QGIS and add the aquifer data to your workspace by clicking Layer, Add Vector Layer. Direct the computer to the location of the file in the Data Source Manager window by clicking the Browse button. Make sure to choose the QGIS folder Data and the GSI Groundwater Bedrock Aquifers folder. Select the file IORL Aquifer Bedrock ITM. Make sure to select the SHP file for the Shapefile. Press Open, press Add, and press Close. Just like the geology data, the aquifer layer appears with many polygons all the same colour. Looking at this map, we cannot distinguish any differences visually between places with different aquifer type. However, instead of classifying the layer, like we did with the geology, we will load a style that came packaged with the aquifer data. To do this, right-click the aquifer layer and select Properties. Within Symbology, click Style and Load Style. Using the Browse button, direct the computer to the file style layer called Aquifer Bedrock. This is within the Data GSI Groundwater Bedrock Aquifers folder. Select Open and press Load Style. Your layer's property symbology should show a list that looks like this. Click Apply and colours will be applied to your aquifer map. Press OK. Make sure the Geology layer is turned off and make the symbology of the aquifer layer 50% transparent in order to see locations beneath. You may have to expand the layer rendering by clicking on the arrow. Zoom into the center. To find out the aquifer type at the center, select the layer in the Layers panel and then select the Identify Features tool. Now click on the aquifer polygon overlying the location of the Cliffs of Moher Centre. The identification results show in the panel to the right. This shows the aquifer category as Li. The description tells us that this is a locally important aquifer. Bedrock which is moderately productive only in local zones. Close the results panel by clicking on the small X. Click on the Pan Map tool to stop identifying features. You can now answer the task question about aquifer category for the environmental report. Now to answer the final question. How far is a site from the nearest river? Before we do this, let's create a point on the map to indicate the location of the site. This is useful for consistent measurements and also means that we don't have to drag the map around, zooming in and out every time to find a location. To add this point, we can use geographic coordinates of a place. Open Excel on your computer. Prepare a table containing the following fields: unique ID, feature name, latitude and longitude. Minimize Excel while we get the coordinates. QGIS requires that the coordinates are in decimal degree format. To find them, we can use Google Maps. Search for the Cliffs of Moher Visitor Centre. On the map, right-click at the centre and select What's Here. The coordinates appear. Click on them. Highlight the coordinates in decimal degrees and copy them by right-clicking and saying Copy. Input these coordinates into the respective cells in Excel. And input the other text as shown. Note, your coordinates are probably slightly different to what is shown here. This is because the coordinates depend on where your mouse clicked on the map, which would be a difference of meters. Save this table into your data folder. You can call it Center Location. Make sure to specify that it's a comma delimited file or a CSV. Press Save. A warning will appear. Press Yes. Close Excel and go back to your QGIS project. It will ask again whether you want to save. Just press No and press Exit. Back in QGIS, from the Layer menu option, select Add Layer. And this time, specify Add Delimited Text Layer. In the file name, browse to the table that you just created. Press Open. The geometry definition has updated itself, as has the sample data which shows you what your file looks like. The X field has automatically filled in longitude and the Y field has automatically identified the latitude. Press Add and Close. A point has appeared on your map. This shows the location of the Cliffs of Moher Centre, and a new layer has been created in the Layers panel. We always save CSV features as shapefiles to allow for future editability in QGIS. So right-click the layer and select Export Save Features As. Make sure your computer is in the Shapefiles folder, and you can call this Center Location. Press Save and keep all other options as default and press OK. This appears on top of the table file below. You can remove the table file. Now that we have our consistent location, let's find the nearest river. Turn off your bedrock file. You can spot the rivers as the thin blue lines. Select the Measure tool, but click the drop down to make sure it's on Measure Line and not Area or Angle. Make sure the units are in meters. Click on your point and click on the closest point of the nearest river. You can read the distance in the total box of the measure window. To stop measuring it, right-click your mouse. Press Close when you're satisfied with your answer. What if someone would like to see the line between the site and the nearest river? We can add a shapefile to show this. Go to Layer, Create Layer, New Shapefile Layer. Choose Line and specify that the CRS is Irish Grid in order to keep it consistent with the workspace. Save this file in your Shapefiles folder and call it Center River. Press OK. A new layer has appeared in the Layers panel. Right-click on the layer and select Toggle Editing. Now select the Add Line feature icon. Draw your line between the center and the closest point of the river. And right-click to close it. Give it an ID of 1. Save your edits and turn off toggle editing. To get out of the measure mode, which is why your cursor might have a crosshair, select the Pan tool. You can find the length of your line by selecting Vector from the menu, Geometry Tools, and Add Geometry Attributes. Make sure the input layer is the center river and that it's calculated using the layer CRS. Press Run, and once it says Finished, press Close. A new scratch layer has appeared. Right-click this layer and open your attribute table. Here, the length can be read. It should be something close to the rough measurement that you did before with the Mapping Ruler tool. Save this file to make it permanent. you can call it DO2. Congratulations! Now you know how to add data and interrogate it to answer environmental questions about a location. Before you go, try zooming in to the location of your house or school. Find out the geology, aquifer category, and how close the nearest river is, using the skills that you just gained. See you at the next lesson, the final one of this course.